All right, welcome back to episode 9 of the test run. This is the first time I'm going to do an intro like this, but today we are joined by a business mogul in both the LifeSteal SMP and real life, considered by many to have one of the worst upload schedules on YouTube. Please welcome Reddoons. How's it going, Reddoons?
Hello. I find it funny you call me a business mogul both in Minecraft and beyond. Like I know like we have one project which you kept silent when talking with Bacon, but oh boy, I don't know if I would call myself a business mogul. But hello, thanks for having me on.
No problem.
I feel honored.
Yeah, and for that project, we still can't really dive into what it's about, but both of us kind of know.
Dude, I am dying to tell people when the time is right, man. We've been
I really want to
that.
tell people.
It's been so long in the making, man. I want the people to know.
Yeah, no, but I think some people kind of know what it is. Like I've seen some messages in my Discord server and the LifeSteal Discord server, and I think some people suspect it. Also, do you want to talk about...
There's definitely remnants and scraps and pieces of information every now and then and around the community, but I feel like not even like a lot of people involved that are aware of it really know what's happening at the moment, which is really, really agitating because like there's only like, what, 10 of us that actually really know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but... I feel like Logan Paul on the freaking Impulsive podcast when he was hyping up what was it that one project Crypto Zoo. He was like, oh, it's gonna be the next big thing, and like watch us like
we dropped millions into it.
Watch us in like half a year just completely regret everything we're saying right now.
Yeah, luckily we're not going that much into depth. So
that is true. That is true.
Yeah, so basically,
please.
To everyone listening, before we actually started recording this, Reddoons was gonna run around in a Hypixel lobby with his keyboard, and then when we realized that was too loud, he was about to bring out his fidget spinner. And what are you using right now?
I couldn't actually find a fidget spinner, so I'm like literally playing with this coin that the Hytale community actually 3D printed for me because I'm kind of obsessed with Hytale, which. I'm not gonna go too much into detail about that because I can talk for hours about that game. But it's an upcoming game by Hypixel Studios, and I'm heavily involved in that community. And I'm literally just like kind of like tossing the coin, flipping upside down, like like just playing around with it in my fingers a little bit just to keep me distracted. This is what ADHD will do to a man. I need stimulation.
Do you know like the difference between ADHD and ADD? Because
so I think what people like I don't know much, but I think like I was technically more on ADD, but I think they merged them, right? Mm-hmm. Something, but attention deficit disorder. It's like when like you have a terrible like you just have you're bad keeping attention, and like you constantly need stimulation, or just I don't know, it could lead to like a lot like procrastination. So I don't know, maybe procrastination, like my bad upload schedule, as you called it in the beginning, really called me out there, by the way. Perhaps that could be based off that, or it's just me procrastinating in general. I don't know. But
because I have a friend who has ADD, and it's not like his hands have to always be like occupied by something, but for example, if he has a task that he needs to complete, he completes everything except that single task. So like, let's say he has a big math project or something that he has to work on. Instead of doing the math project, he'll like fold the laundry, he'll clean his room, he'll do everything besides the math project, and then do the math project last minute, like literally last minute.
For me, it's like, say I got like an editing Premiere like file open, right? Like I'm working on my next video. Say like I am cutting my footage. I'm like, man, this is boring. Let me just like hop up like on YouTube real quick, maybe like see like a little video to like keep my attention. What I'll end up do is like spend a whole hour just like studying like American dialect. Like that happened the other day. Me and a friend were sitting in a call. We were just studying the different dialects in the United States and how like different word usage is spread. For instance, like Coke versus soda versus pop versus I forgot what the other one was, but no, that's something like, you know, that would just happen.
Oh, like American vernacular.
Yeah, no, like that's just
That's
like something that would randomly happen. Like, you know, you think you'll have an efficient day editing, and then bam, studying American articulation. It's great. I love it. It's definitely not detrimental to like my content career, but I mean, content's been going pretty well recently, so I can't really complain. Maybe it's just the key to success.
You just had a video pop off, right?
Yeah, committing war crimes in Minecraft. You know, like the you know, who would have thought committing war crimes was like viral material?
How does that make you feel? Like, because I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, but at the beginning of season 3, you had like a sudden explosion, right? And you were dropping million view bangers like left and right, and then I feel like you kind of plateaued a little bit.
So let me hold on. I'm actually gonna pull up my YouTube channel here, right? Because before I joined LifeSteal, I had that one video, like the how I broke Mr. Beast's charity SMP that I did with Ashwag, where we like ultimately just like pollute the ocean in the name of charity. Yeah. Then after that is when I got on. Then I did a few LifeSteal videos. Didn't really understand like how to do them well. I just kind of did your basic like becoming king of LifeSteal, or, you know, rivalry turn into a war, and then avoids procs SMP. Then I think at some point halfway through, like I think it was like in February, we discovered that hard exploit in season 3, and I was like, oh, this is banger material. Like I think it's the one common thread with like all my videos that have succeeded is I've always known like that idea is gonna be very good. Like like I had that with like the Sea Clean, I had that with the hard exploit, I had that with the Immortality one, aka the Trust Diamond stuff, if you recall that. And then the Earthbound video, which is committing war crimes. I just spent 9 months delaying that video.
9 months is crazy.
Yeah, you know, I would blame procrastination, but there was a lot of stuff other than that I think you may be aware of that kind of caused me to be burnt out from that video, and I won't go into detail about that. But you're right, I did definitely have a plateau, right? And I think like part of that could be maybe that I did drawn thumbnails. Another thing is that like instead of like coming up with ideas, I was just kind of like on there for the road. Like I was just like, you know, playing along with everything happening at LifeSteal. I didn't make the cleansing. I didn't have to do the doomsday stuff that Spoke and Clown did. I was just kind of there witnessing like a side character and just tell my story, which I mean, it worked. It definitely slowed down growth. I know like there was like a solid like before every single one of my milestones, I've always had this plateau, right? Like between 70K to like 100K, it was a bit slow. Then like 100K to 150K was pretty fast. Then 150K to a 200K was slow. But then like, you know, in the past like 2 weeks, I've gone from 198,000 to 226,000 subs, which, you know, growing by like 10% in a single week is definitely surreal, I will admit. So it's been nice. Like it definitely makes me wonder, how do I keep this up, you know?
Yeah. Going back to what you said about drawn thumbnails, I feel like you were the guy that revolutionized drawn thumbnails like in our space, in the SMP
think
space.
So?
Yeah.
Huh. Like
actually,
I'm not sure.
Now that
because,
I'm thinking about it,
I think maybe I was the one that did it the most, but I think like technically Clown was the first one, right? Like, I mean, you have Techno. Techno, like, did it, like, a lot back in the day, but he didn't do much SMP videos. Then I know Clown Pierce did, like, 1 or 2 drawn thumbnails. And I was, like, looking at that. I remember, like, asking him, like, do you think drawn thumbnails would do good? And he's like, they do about average. I'm like, but they look very cool. Like, I can't get over, like, how some of, like, the even my drawn thumbnails look. I salute my thumbnail artist, Frizz, for, like, you know, being so good, because I'll just like kind of give them the title and kind of like I'll give them like an early sneak peek at the video, and they'll just come up with ideas. Like they'll kind of like sketch it. I'm impressed. But like I will admit that I definitely was the one that did it the most, and a lot of people questioned me about that. I know like Planelord would yell at me. He was like, "You buffoon! You're missing out so many views. What are you doing?" But then like eventually I think it's mainly because he knew that I originally was doing them because I was lazy. I did not like making Minecraft thumbnails, but ultimately came around when he realized like, yeah, they can do well. Like that one video, My Quest for Mortality Minecraft, that is my most successful video with 2.3 mil that was drawn.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like doing them, but I definitely see like the benefit of like, you know, doing normal Minecraft thumbnails as well, like with the latest video. So I think it's all about context, really. Like if your video's a bit like if it's not direct, if it's not like a clear idea that you could explain in like a Minecraft thumbnail, perhaps doing a drawn one will like give it that extra flair. But if it's like something simple, something you could explain like with like, you know, just showing via Minecraft, perhaps Minecraft thumbnails are the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like your newest thumbnail just really captured your video really well, if that makes sense.
The funny part about that is, like, I full disclosure, I think I put it in the description, but I did not make that thumbnail. Like,
You didn't?
no, I was going on a trip, right, with some friends, like a week before I upload this video, and I joined a call. Actually, I joined the Creator Club Discord that we have, and some people were sitting there. I think Bercy, Minitek, and a few others were in there, and Wookie and some other friends. And I just kind of go, guys, I'm making a video about committing war crimes. I need a thumbnail. And then like most of them were very confused about what I was referring to. But fortunately, Bursty was on the server with me, and they were like, "Oh, okay, you're making a video about that." And they had like some Earth thumbnail like assets already, so they just kind of put that together. Like they helped me, like, and we made it like what 30 minutes, and bam, like banger was made.
No, yeah,
And,
that thumbnail. I mean, I looked at it and I was like, I don't even know how you got that fire texture in there.
Dude, that was Bursty, bro. They are insane. They're so good. I understand why like Skeppy and other creators work with them. Like, I'm sure to work with them in the future again. But like, I definitely think the thumbnail was a big contributor to like the video's success.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, would you consider yourself more of a Twitch streamer than a YouTuber? I'm talking way back. Like,
You're talking like One Tribe days?
yes.
So originally I considered myself a TikToker, which is very disgraceful to say, but like that is the truth.
Hey, I did too.
Yeah,
So.
like, oh yeah, you also came from TikTok. Oh right,
did.
you were like, you and I had like a similar kind of like blow up point, but like you seem to have a bit more immediate success than I did. But like I did like the TikTok stuff on One Try SMP, where like I do what, like, I don't even remember. Like they were kind of like semi-scripted, like just SMP stuff where we're like, we're gonna kill you. I think we saw like the Minecraft Curios, or it was like some SMP. No, it was AG the Bold. It was AG the Bold. We saw like the dog series, and we were like, we can do that. And then I was studying a lot of like the big people at the time, right? And I think one of the big people that I was looking at mostly was Rambo, just because Rambo was like the predominant, like the anomaly that had blown up from TikTok. That was like the person that had succeeded in that current stage of the content industry we were in. And he did the TikTok to Twitch, and then got into Dream SMP. But I look back and I remember I had like a very quick immediate growth similar to him, but unfortunately I did not have that, like, you know, Dream SMP pickup, which ultimately led me to like fall off a little bit about that, because TikTok audiences, they're a fad. They're like it's like Vine or like any like viral thing. Like they remain for like a temporary amount of time, but once they find something more interesting, they'll move on, which is what ultimately happened. And that's what I'm telling you, I went from 7 average viewers to 1,000 in the span of 2 months. And then after that, I went back to 50 viewers within the following 3 to 4 months. So like I had a huge roller coaster of like seeing like peak having imposter syndrome to then falling off and like ultimately almost quitting content there for a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of see TikTok. Here's the thing. So I kind of directed TikTok more to YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And it worked a lot for me, but I don't think maybe TikTok viewers like jump started my channel a little bit, but I don't think that TikTok viewers made up a majority of my viewers at the
I
time.
No, I wouldn't doubt that. Like they've probably like moved on and you've built a YouTube audience. But another great example is Sandiction.
Yeah.
Sandiction also came from TikTok originally. Then after a while, like his videos picked up on YouTube, and then he kept going on there. Like I didn't do the YouTube part. I had YouTube videos, which were essentially what my TikToks were, but instead of pushing to YouTube, I pushed to Twitch, which was not the wisest idea in my opinion. I didn't even really know how to make YouTube videos, because this is back when I was what? Technically, I was invited to LifeSteal Season 1, right? And like I was around all these like underday YouTubers and other YouTubers, and I had no idea how to do YouTube videos back then. I had my editor just like do like a stream highlight. That's why like I'm not too fond of my one try series, just because I don't even know what happens in those videos. I have no memory of them.
Yeah.
Like I just like automate it, and like then like after that I had to like completely relearn how to make YouTube videos in Minecraft. And then I got a lot of help from like, Mapik, Pofa, Terrain, Leowook, Ashwag, Planalord. I'm sure I'm probably forgetting some, but like those were like the main people that really helped me out. And then I pushed out this like one UHC video, and then after that I pushed out the Mr. Beast charity SMP, which ended up blowing up. And that honestly, that was the video that kickstarted my career.
Mm-hmm. I think that was also the video that got you re-invited to LifeSteal.
I'm gonna be real.
Yeah,
like those stuff that happened, like I mean, I'm not gonna go into detail because like ultimately it worked out, but like like I was technically part of season 2 there for like what, a week, and then I was removed because of inactivity. And I remember like I was like no, because I met like all the LifeSteal people on the server I was on at the time or doing instead, and everyone was so cool. Like I loved the guys. I was like, no, wait, I need to be on LifeSteal with these guys. And I just knew that like I couldn't just keep begging without like having nothing to show for it. So I was like, all right, I gotta make a freaking banger, bro.
And you did.
Then when yeah, so when Clown Pierce and Minecraft Curios did like that sea clean, I was like, all right, I gotta grind this. And yeah, I don't think I would be in LifeSteal if it wasn't for that video. I don't think I'd honestly be anywhere if it wasn't for that video. I'd probably be still like, I mean, I don't think I would have quit content. I just wouldn't be as far along as I am now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like crazy for me to think of where everybody would be if LifeSteal wasn't a thing. Like,
Bro.
yeah, it unified all of us, but it was such a group effort, and it just blew everybody up. Like, actually.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think it comes from two things, right? One, we're all like relatively tight knit, right? Like if you compare it to like what the Dream SMP was, like Dream SMP, like they've vocalized it many times. Like the Discord was dead. They barely had any meetings. Nobody even knew really what like the lore was or what was going on. It was very lackluster on the inside, right? But like as a group, like there's not a single day that goes by without like at least like 50 messages being sent to like the general chat, LifeSteal, people talking about content, people talking about plans, people just vibing. And I think that's definitely like the main contributor, that like everyone's motivated, but also that LifeSteal has served as that like haven where like a bunch of motivated contenters that know each other well came together and made content, like it's kind of like that chain reaction. If one of us succeeds, we all succeed. I mean, you could look at me, you could look at Cube, you could look at Zam, Pangy, like a bunch of people that joined LifeSteal. Sure, they would have probably made it on their own, but their growth and their momentum was definitely amplified when joining LifeSteal and being part of that community. And I mean, now look at us now. We're like one of the top servers out there now. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. It is pretty nuts to think that, like, here's what was crazy to me. I think I said this before on a podcast episode, but when I came up with like the concept, obviously like LifeSteal, I guess, has been around for a while. Like even thinking back to Terraria, right?
Yeah, it's like a typical D&D attribute that you can like take.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
life
exactly.
Source. Yeah.
But like when I applied that to a server concept back in when even was it, like June of 2021?
It was around there, yeah.
Yeah, to think now that if you go on the Spigot homepage and the LifeSteal plugin has 1.4 million downloads. That
it's 1.4.
It's something like that. Hold on, I can.
If it's 1.4, I'm telling you, 300,000 of those have come up in the past 2 months.
Okay, hold on.
Because I remember we had to look a while back, and it was 1.16 when we were doing a certain study, if you recall.
All right, let's see. So it was updated on February 26th. And it has... Wait, how do I check on my phone how many plugins it has?
Hold on, let me pull up Spigot
Dude,
on my PC.
It gets... This is crazy. It tells you how many downloads a day. Wait, no. It tells you how many... Wait, what even is this?
Oh, it is 1.45.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is over 300,000 in the past 2 months then. Because I know that when we did our little study there, it was at 1.16. I remember that.
That is just absurd to me.
That is crazy.
That is absurd.
What? Oh my. Oh man, that makes me even more excited to talk about that one thing, but
hey, you're on the brink of leaking it, bro. Calm down.
Yeah, no, I cannot. I didn't say anything, man.
Yeah.
I said nothing. But that also, I was gonna bring that up actually. That I don't know if you recall, right? Because you were the one that invited me to LifeSteal back like season 1. We're talking talking pre-season 1. I remember that this is like back when I was on One Try, when I was debating between like LifeSteal and the other server I joined, Outsiders. I remember that you were advertising / like marketing or shipping the project or like the SMP to me. And I was like, you were basically telling me like, hear me out. I got this perfect idea. We got a bunch of like underday YouTubers. We're gonna do a hardcore server, or like that was like the original idea, just doing a hardcore server. And I was like, bro, there's literally like 50 of those, man. There's literally 50. And like then like I think you came back like a few days later, like, bro, okay, hear me out. Hardcore server where whenever you kill someone, you steal one of their hearts, and if you lose all your hearts, you're banned off the server. And I was like, that just sounds like at first I was like, that just sounds like hardcore with extra steps. Like I was not entirely sold until like I think it was like, no, it was, I think it was like season 2. I was watching season 2. Like I met like a bunch of the LifeSteal guys when I got re-invited, and I was realizing that like, oh, it's like actually a lot more intense. It's like PvP. There's like all that like that chaos energy, which is a lot more fun because I mean, think about it like this. I don't think there's a single other, well, maybe like Limited Life with like the Hermitcraft people, but there's not really a single other huge server out there that is as intense as LifeSteal. There's a reason why it used to be called, I mean, probably still is, the deadliest server on the deadliest, or no, deadliest player / like whatever on the deadliest SMP, you know? Like, that's because like LifeSteal is probably one of the sweatiest servers out there, at least at the top. I'm sure there's sweatier servers, but at least like the most mainstream sweaty server.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you weren't on season 2, but season 2, people just don't understand how sweaty it actually was. Like, dude, genuinely,
Mapik, Pofa, and Terrain would like tell me their Vietnam like flashback stories about like the type of sweat. Like they were telling me like, bro, I swear if the sweatiness doesn't calm down, we're gonna quit the server. Like they were having PTSD from all this sweatiness happening.
Okay, ready? This is gonna sound crazy, but
yeah,
Spoke and I, and I think someone else, I think Vortex and Ro were also with us, but we jumped Zam in the Nether, right? And they took that to heart. So they spent 20 hours together searching underground, found our base, and then raided us with Clown. Like,
was that is Leo Wook too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Like, see, I'm glad that it isn't as intense as it is or was, because like from what I gathered, real like hatred and like dislike
No,
of one another.
dude,
Like was a
there
thing
was
back
actual
then.
beef on that server.
Yeah, because I remember joining in season 3, right? And at the beginning, it was a tad bit sweaty, like in the first few days or first few weeks. And I remember like I was just vibing in a call with my friends. I was just doing like some offline or some off-camera grinding. And then out of nowhere, Vitality and Subs just jumped me while I'm like in a call with my homies talking about it like a boys' trip to Disneyland. And I remember getting so pissed. Like I didn't die, like I got out of there, but I got so pissed at like getting jumped like that. They had the audacity to jump me while I was in a call with my friends talking about Disneyland. How could they? And like I think that is like that is what kickstarted my hatred for Subs and Vitality in season 3. Because I did not like those guys at first. There was some real like blood feuds happening.
No, there was genuinely like season 2. Yeah, we got a lot of content out, but there was genuine like emotion on the server. Like it wasn't just for content. It was,
It was our way of life.
yeah. It was like you get home, you do your homework, and then you log on LifeSteal and you just do something because you genuinely want to get revenge on someone. Or
So
like,
that makes I'm for once gonna ask you a question then. I feel like you've been like
go ahead.
interviewing me. Here's my question then. How have you been feeling about like the kind of the evolution slash like the change in like kind of culture slash like I don't know interaction of like how life supposed to work? Because like season 1 was, you know, the pioneer age. Like there's not really much to define it. Season 2 was like the intense sweat, whatever. Season 3 was like the vibe, yet like there was like those big events that like brought everyone together, and that's when people sweated hard. But like besides that, it was like very vibe and chill. This season, I don't really know how to explain this season. Like, what are your take on like everything?
yeah, so that's a good question. I mean, if I were to pick any season, I wouldn't just pick one season. I would want every season to be a mix between season 2 and 3 because for me, I think it's different for people. Like a lot of people like season 3, a lot of people like season 4 because of how chill it's been. I don't even know if season 4 has been considered chill because I haven't logged on in a while, but I'm a really competitive person, right? So although there was a ton of like hate on season 2, it was so fun. Genuinely, like I'm smiling about this right now because it was like that was the most fun experience I've had playing Minecraft. Because
are you sure that's not just like, you know, trauma? Because like I'm like thinking back to like how I reminisce about playing like Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, but then I realized like the communities that existed back then, like the you know the very negative culture and social interactions, but yet I have some sort of like blissful nostalgia to that. Are you sure it's not just like a similar vibe that like you have a weird traumatic experience that like you can't just like let go?
I mean,
with the sweatiness,
maybe, but at the same
do you need to talk about it, Barrett?
At the same time, wait, what was I gonna say? There's like. Since it was in Minecraft, and at the end of the day, it wasn't that big of a deal to me if I lost all my stuff and a heart. But what was so much fun was just figuring out a way to kill Clown Pierce. Because you have to... I think the skill gap has also closed so much.
It really has.
Yeah. The thing about Season 2, right, was Clown Pierce could drop anybody. And there was no doubt about that. If you got in a 1v1 with Clown Pierce, you had two options. Run or die. That was like the only way you'd get out, right? So that really fueled us because we weren't that good at PvP. We spent so long brainstorming all these other ways to kill him and all these other ways we could like trick him. And because this skill gap has closed and everybody's just so good now, there's many options in every single fight. And it honestly... like, yeah, there's traps. Yeah, there's all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, people are skilled enough that they can pretty much get out of any situation. And, like, people know when something's a trap. People know when
I feel like it's kind of been going around the same cycle that people are very much aware if they get invited to something, it's probably a trap at this point. It's almost a guarantee. Yeah, that's why I'm in a weird thought process, right? I'm not a pessimist, so I'm not gonna say that, but like the culture in LifeSteal has just changed so much, Like it was very sweaty season 2. Season 3 was like this weird kind of in between. Like there were times of sweat, there was times of relaxation. It was kind of like this weird on and off season kind of thing, right? Like if you think like you had day 1, then it was off for a little bit. Then you for instance cleansing, then off. Then you had the doomsday, then off. And then you had some stuff in between like the trust diamond, Vitality's dripstone thing. Me and Terrain tried to psychologically torture Rec for fun. You had all those like small things in between there. But in season 4, it felt like we've had it was sweaty day 1. There was a lot of PvP happening. I think a bit too much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which I think ultimately kind of made us spiral down this a weird path of we don't even really know what we're doing. Like some people are duplicating, some people are relaxing, some people are taking a break from the server, which is fine. That is necessary sometimes. But no, I'm definitely hoping that in the future maybe we go back to a spin-off of season 2 and season 3 perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking season 5 when that time comes around. I'm pretty dead set on implementing a 1-hour grace period or something, just so that people don't get dropped in 4 seconds.
Yeah, I've spoken about this in the past, but I think those kills, you probably recall, I got to 20 hearts on day 1, right? So Pangy got to 19, Vitality got to 18, and Subs did 2. While the other team, I think Mapik got banned off the server, Planalord got banned, but that was kind of his own fault. Everyone else was far below 10, right? We suffered the wealth gap in in Minecraft, which was kind of hilarious to think about. But think about how much that changed just people's aspects on the server. I know Mapik came back, was I gotta prove all of these people wrong, and did the whole Rochambeau and Mapik did the whole end thing. And then I don't know. I think that type of mentality fostered the whole duplication stuff when that happened. That and content, obviously, if you see a dupe exploit, you're gonna take advantage of that for content. But I think it was just worse because, or more impactful because of this imbalance. And I think that's what led us down the path we have been now. So I definitely think we should have a similar start to season 3 next time around, perhaps. And
yeah,
I don't know. I'm curious. This is a follow-up question then.
Yeah.
You probably don't get many questions like this about netherite versus diamond.
That's a good question. So I think netherite was fun for a while, and it was fun to have uncapped stuff. But I've kind of realized now that you can, even with a 4-second pearl cooldown, you can run from any fight.
Yeah. You can
and it's just
tank.
Yeah, you just tank and run, an XP bottle and run. I kind of want to go back to diamond for season 5.
I really do too. I don't know why, but I kind of miss the UHC vibes.
Yeah.
And also meant more interactions because you didn't have to worry too much about having to sweat netherite and stuff. I find it ironic that we're talking about going back to netherite or no diamond now that they're making netherite just a lot harder to get with the 1.20. The armor trim stuff.
Wait, why is it harder to get?
Oh, well, with the armor trim, one of the things is you need one of those the tablets or whatever to make an armor trim.
Yes.
You legit need one of those molds to make netherite. It's a specific one for netherite armor.
Huh.
So it's curious. We'll have to discuss this more off camera or off podcast, but no, it's definitely interesting to think about because one thing I noticed, I don't know if you probably noticed this too, but when we switched to netherite, there was something I realized about every other SMP. Or no, when we switched to diamond, a lot of other servers switched to diamond, and when we switched to netherite, a lot of other servers switched back to netherite. Did you realize that by any chance?
I think a lot of servers just they take a little bit of inspiration off of us, but they don't often think about why we're making that decision. That's the issue.
I'm not thinking they're just ripping off for the sense of like homogeneity or like being homogenous to us. I think it's honestly that like maybe they saw that we were having like more fun with the diamond stuff. Yeah. We switched to that. So they were like, let's try that out ourselves. Like, but I do find it funny that like LifeSteal has that type of ripple type of influence in the community. Like I think it's cool that people like, are innovating themselves. Like, I mean, if we look now, like, you have Infuse, for instance, like doing their thing, which originally wasn't Infuse. Like, I forgot what it was originally called, but it was called something else. And a lot of those people came from this other server that was more similar to LifeSteal back in the day. But then now they have like the boost, the health, the effects, whatever.
What?
Infuse SMP.
I know that's the potion one, right? Where you like
yeah. But I mean like Infamous JJ and like those people, a lot of them came from, I forgot what it was called, but it was the one like Demise, which was considered a tad bit more similar to LifeSteal, if I recall, right?
Yeah.
Right. So like it's like this, like we're finally at a point where people are like evolving and innovating into their own paths, which I think is ultimately good for the community. You have like Wembu now doing the King SMP thing, which is like what something about swords. I haven't really looked much into it, but it's something about swords. I know that. I watched the Bacon Waffles video.
Yeah. No, yeah. What do you think the future of LifeSteal is going to be in 3 to 5 years?
I know the future of LifeSteal, but I can't say it. But I'm gonna say for the SMP, I think. Well, did you say 2 to 3 or 3 to 5?
3 to 5.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I really want LifeSteal to have the same. I would like to see LifeSteal have the similar path that Hermitcraft did in longevity, where like it will go down for like as a standard in the community. And I think it could, because there's no real like sweaty server out there as big as LifeSteal. I think it's just we gotta play our cards right. I think that's all it is. I don't know what that means, but we do need to play our cards right so that we stay fresh. Like Hermitcraft has that like blissful opportunity of being able to keep doing what they're doing, although they have some innovation, but they can keep doing what they're doing because they have that standard. We just need to get to that point where people see us as the standard. But I mean, I truly hope that like we get to that point where like most of we're going to. I mean, you're graduating, a bunch of other people are graduating, some people are already graduated. I want us to get to that point where every LifeSteal member is out of high school, either in college or decide to take a gap year or maybe even be done with college, so that we have people spending more time on the server and with the group, so that we have that, like, it's not just, people that are content creators that also have other life stuff happening, but people that are content creators that can allocate far more time to content. And I think that would also change like LifeSteal culture a little bit, because maybe we'll go back to being far sweatier then, like if people can like get on a lot more, right? But I don't know, like obviously like 3 to 5 years with projects that are being worked on, as well as like hopefully people sticking around. I think we have a bright future. We just need to play our cards right. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what the server is gonna look like in, let's say 2 years, or let's say 1.5 years, right?
Yeah.
Because in 1.5 years, there's only going to be one person in the server that's still in high school.
Really?
So, yeah. So, which means, right? Yeah. I don't think a lot of people are going to end up taking a gap year. And let's say you look at someone like Cube, right? Actually, I think Bacon's taking a gap year, or at least trying YouTube like full time. But if you take someone like Cube, who was uploading pretty consistently, logging on, as soon as he went to college, his entire upload schedule just tanked. And like I get why, but
I think that depends on what kind of major you are, though.
That's also
because
really
like he is, if I recall, he's either electrical or mechanical engineer major. I
which is
am, for
crazy.
instance, economics and IT, and I feel like I've uploaded at a similar rate, maybe a tad bit slower actually. When I was on a gap year compared to like when I was in college, or like a well, now I'm increasing it now, but that's because I'm automating. Fortunately, now like LifeSteal people are getting editors to like help out,
Yeah.
which I think will help us out a lot. But I think it's prioritization. Like I I've done pretty solid in my classes, but like I have a test a week from now, and I want to get a video out. I'd probably prioritize working on the video to like the last minute, and then just cram for the test because I really didn't care. I think it will come down to like it will be this like kind of split for like philosophy or like slash like prioritization between lifestyle people that go to college of like, have you already made content your career, and is it something you want to continue? Because like I'm so far into college that I'm just gonna stick through it to like have a safe, backup plan. Like say content, God forbids it, like ends up completely like going off the rail, and somehow like something happens to my channel, gets deleted or something. I want to make sure I have some sort of backup plan. Now I'm finally getting to the point with this last video where I'm realizing I could actually make quite an income that's career building with YouTube now. But, this has been years in the making.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I think, like, certain people will probably decide, like, I'll stick with content for now, take a gap year. Other people will go off to college because either they want to do something else or they're not at that point yet. And that is going to be the real kind of determinator.
So are you going back to college starting in September?
So I'm actually taking 2 classes over the summer, which are pretty basic. I just need B's. Then I'm going back to college. Like I'm going to move back up in August. But I'm like living by myself this time around, so I get a lot more privacy and can work on content. And then I'm also not taking that many classes. I'm taking 3 classes or 12 credit per semester. Usually a full-time student takes like 15 to 16 or 4 or 5 classes. So I'm like, my classes aren't going to be the easiest, but it's going to be like a little bit of programming, a little bit of theory, and then be a little bit of statistics maybe. But that's about it. Like, I'm going to be done next spring. Like, or by the end of next spring.
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
done.
I need to try and negotiate a single room at college because like I get the dorm experience, but
Yeah.
I've seen how kind of like cramped a college dorm can be. And there is no way.
It's going to be cramped regardless. I'm going to be real.
Yeah.
Unless you, like, worst comes to worst, you can maybe get some off-campus housing. Like, maybe you could rent something. I'm sure you could afford that. But, like, I mean, the only reason why I did decide to do a double dorm, whatever, was because my roommate was one of my high school buddies that also knew since high school that I've been doing YouTube and streaming. Like, he was, like, fully aware of everything. We didn't even have a door between our rooms. It was like open, like he could literally just walk in. Like I know there was sometimes we would have like conversations on LifeSteal and say something wacky. He'd just like walk in, look at me in disappointment, and then just leave to tease me.
That's funny.
And there's like another story where like he was applying for an internship at this like super prestigious company to internet, and the problem is I had one of those Twitch, what are they called? The Twitch events, the Twitch rivals, the same day. And he's like, yo, I need you to be quiet. I'm like, bro, I can't. I got an event going on. I told you about this. And he's like, dang, okay. Legit, while I'm in the other room screaming, doing call-outs in Minecraft and stuff and streaming, he was doing an interview for his internship.
Oh,
and like legit in the internship interview, he's like, please forgive my roommate. He's a live streamer. He's streaming to like an audience of like 300 people trying to win a lot of money right now. So I apologize. And apparently like something happened, but they realized like with like hearing me scream in the background, they respected his patience, and actually he got the job.
Bro.
But yeah, no, he got the job because of that. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
you
he's doing
did an
good now.
internship over the summer, right?
Yeah, I did because I'm in IT and economics. I did an internship, and actually on my interview, I only spoke about my YouTube channel for like 90% of it,
Dang.
I got the job, and I did the internship.
How
Um,
was that?
uh, you know, like it was a bit mid. I'm not gonna lie, because my boss was like, he had a lot of stuff going on, so he couldn't really oversee me. So he just had me do all these courses during the internship, like doing like SQL and that kind of stuff on my own and programming.
Mm-hmm.
But like 85% of the time, I kid you not, either be playing video games or either like grinding on LifeSteal or something related to content, like while in the internship, like while working.
Oh, did you bring like your laptop or did you have a
No, it
PC?
was remote. So like they sent me a laptop to work on, and I just
Oh,
like be on my desktop monitor right behind it. Like literally, even like during like meetings, I like be in the background, either like playing like War Thunder or like
that's
some
funny.
game. And they had no idea. It was it was pretty funny. There's a content creator friend that I have that work at the company, and he does the same exact thing, and he works. Like he's not on an internship, he actually works, and he does the same exact thing. But I mean, I did a good job on the internship, so that's I did the job well, better than the other internships or interns still. So
Mm-hmm.
I excuse myself. Um, but yeah, no, it's been interesting with all the life stuff, but I will say this, like for those that like consider taking a gap year or like doing something instead of like, only focusing on content, it really comes down to your level of discipline, because like I have a tough time like moderating myself. Like
Mm-hmm.
like if someone tells me, "Yo, you got to do this, you got to do that," or like tells me I got to do something, I'll do it immediately and I'll do it well. Same thing with like with that one project. Like I'm not gonna go into detail, but I'm just like using an example. With that one project, I can sit down for hours
Yeah.
doing mindless tasks that nobody else bothered to do, just because it was on my mind and I knew we had to get it done. YouTube, it's a lot harder to do that because I require some sense of like creativity, and I
Mm-hmm.
still deep down consider it a hobby rather than a job. So like it's like the same thing with a hobby. If you don't want to do your hobby in that moment, you're not gonna do it. You're gonna do something else, or you're gonna get distracted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, I just got I'm gonna interrupt you really quickly, but I just got an email from my school's yearbook club asking if I changed my senior quote.
Actually, hold on. Are you planning on face revealing anytime soon?
Potentially.
You oh man, this is like one of those like where I would do like subscribe to Reddoons now that I know I'm a big YouTuber. But like if you're conscious about your face and like being out there and being affiliated with your brand, perhaps not. So what you
Mm-hmm.
do? Subscribe to Clown Pierce. I don't know. Do you do something else? I don't know. But uh, I know that for my yearbook quote, I did. It's over Anakin. I got the high ground
Bro.
because I'm a big nerd, man. I'm a huge nerd.
Yeah. My quote was inspired by Zam. So my quote
Wait.
is wait, do you want to guess it?
Oh no! Like that just gave me an idea. You know, Doctor Donut, the whole fail to plan, plan to fail.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You gotta do
That
that
would be
one.
so funny. But senior quote reveal, mine is if I'm betting on myself, then I'll completely
Oh,
double down. J. Cole.
oh, that one's good.
Yeah. It was
That's like a pumped up like inspirational quote. I would have done something goofy.
yeah. My original one was goofy. I forget exactly what it was, but I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going down like this. Like I gotta change this.
Nah,
So much
I
better,
won't be able
dude.
to change that yearbook quote, man. Like, some point in the future, it'll just be like, it's over Anakin. I got diagram. I probably would have changed it to like either subscribe to Reddoons or like something else. But oh no, like I could just really play into the bit. You know how like I keep talking about Hightail, like that's just like a running gig now that like or gag that I just keep bringing it up.
Hmm.
Like I probably would have changed it to like have I mentioned Hightail or something like that. Um but
Something like that.
something like that. But I don't know, to double down, I feel like honestly that's a very good motivational yet inspiring quote.
Yeah.
And I think that's ultimately how LifeSteal thinks in general. Like as a whole. Like,
Exactly.
we take some risks, but ultimately it's for the greater good of the group.
Yeah. All right. I have a question, actually 2 questions that I ask to every single person who comes on. You ready?
All right, let's do it.
Okay. So first, what are your goals for this year, 2023? And what are your goals long term? And it doesn't have to be with YouTube. It could be with anything in life. Anything.
All right, I'm gonna be real. My life kind of is YouTube at the moment, so
Okay.
like I don't really think about much else at the moment, which maybe tragic, but at the same time, I guess that may be good. Content wise, at least, my goal at the moment is generally just to upload a lot more. Like I feel like one thing that I was weak at. I mean, you pointed out at the very beginning of this podcast my terrible upload schedule. But I think that's not just like exclusive to me. I think that's a lot of people in life so recently. But I feel like after season 2, we all just kind of dropped out of that whole like uploading every week or every other week to once a month, once every other month, once every 3 months, and like it just got worse and worse. We were excusing ourselves. It could be that we made the projects more like quality or more intense, like they were more grandiose, but ultimately we uploaded far less. And like now that I've uploaded like a few videos, I think I have like 12 or 13 very good videos on my channel that I'm very proud of. I'm realizing that this like whole, as we call it, the backlog, this idea of people not just watching one of your videos, but once they've watched one, they're so intrigued by you as a person and your content that they go and watch 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's a chain reaction of just like watch or binge watching your entire channel, right? That is something I've realized like it's a powerful tool and a powerful thing to have. Like my video actually just hit 1 million views, like the recent one that I uploaded 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a while since I've had a 1 milli. I'll be real. But the one cool part is, and I talk about this all the time with y'all, but like I don't talk about this publicly as much because most people don't really understand. But like my channel, because of that 1 million views on that channel or that video, my channel as a whole has gained 2.3 million views.
Yeah.
This month. And that is the power of backlog, people going to watch other videos. And that is in my eyes the key to success with YouTube. Having a strong backlog. That's why like I really admire, you Rec Rap, and of course, Technoblade, for having those like, huge backlogs that people just binge watch the content, because I think that is ultimately key to success and longevity on content. So that's my goal for 2023. Beyond that, I think hopefully building up like a bit of a stable income, and actually, not just saying this is like my side hustle, but actually like a career that I'm thriving off of. I think that's like my overall goal at the moment. And then, then hopefully living life a little bit more. I had a trip recently where I realized that, making Minecraft videos is great and all, and I love it. I would not want to do anything else as my job, besides maybe making Hytale videos one day. But living life is important to kind of understand why you're doing everything. If you've only like worked on content or worked like studying all your life without doing much outside of that, you kind of become a drone. You kind of misunderstand what is the purpose. If you start living life, I know like Clown Pierce is doing that a lot more recently, where he's like going on trips with his girlfriend, he's visiting countries, he's doing fun things. It can motivate you to move mountains if you live life a little bit. So I think that's an important long-term goal.
Like yesterday, so my friend and I, so as you know, I just got into college.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we went out and
Right.
like to a concert, like this a cappella concert at the college. So
Yeah.
what essentially happened after that, I was planning on going home because that lasted till I think 8, and I was planning on going home and just editing to get this video out. But then everybody was like, "Oh, let's watch this new movie called Air. Have you heard of it? It's directed by Ben Affleck, I think."
I have not, unfortunately.
Yeah, so basically, Air is about how Nike recruited Michael Jordan as like their first big basketball athlete. And you know, like the Air Jordan shoe line?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was basically about how that single deal like revolutionized sports marketing in shoes and like that. So then I got home at like midnight and I was like, okay, yeah, like there's no way I'm editing tonight. And I was planning on editing all day today, but apparently we're all going out to watch the new Mario movie in suits. So
You're pulling a Leo look?
yeah. But it's for the Mario
like
movie.
see that's the point though, you know, like sure, maybe like temporarily you'll be like, I didn't get around to work on that video, but like as the beautiful movie Inside Out points out, you know, it's all about core memories. When you look back in life, you know, you wanna have those good times. Like it's like I thought about that a lot more like on the TwitchCon trip because I was reading that one book, Storyworthy, that I definitely would like to suggest like a lot of content creators to read. And it's like talking about like finding stories in your everyday life, right? And one thing back in TwitchCon that happened was I was meeting up with the gang, you know, Clown Pierce, Woogie, Mapik, Pofa, Jepex, and we were eating at a restaurant, but then after that, like everyone had to head off to like, you know, go back to their apartments and stuff, like, or the hotels to like, you know, rest and then come back the following day for the convention. I was going to call an Uber to go back home, but then for some reason, my phone just like completely died. And it was like this weird train that took 30 minutes. So like my Uber was stuck on the other side of the train and couldn't get to me. So they canceled it. So my phone died. I'm stuck in San Diego without any communication, nobody around me that I knew, lost.
Yeah.
And like I sat down on the side of the road. Instead of like panicking, I just thought to myself, like, all right, I can't panic right now. Like I'm a professional content creator. I'm a big boy. I can't be the lost child at Target that just like starts crying like when they lose their parents. I gotta man myself up out of this situation. So what I do, I whip out my Nintendo Switch and play Mario Kart. That was my way on the side of the road. I literally was like sitting like a little child playing Mario Kart because I wouldn't dare deal with the situation at hand that I was lost. I was like, all right, this is how I solve my problems. And like I was telling Ashwag and Sam this story a while back, and they were kind of laughing their butts off that like, you know, I could have done almost at like every step I could have done something that was probably like the ideal way to solve that problem. But instead, I did the stupid decision because I didn't really know what to do, which led me to play Mario Kart on the side of the road. And in that moment, I just looked up, recalling that book that I just read about finding stories in your everyday life. I'm like, this is gonna make a great story one day. that was my thought process about being lost in San Diego with like no way out of the situation. Just that, yeah, I'm gonna have a great story one day. And like me getting out of that situation is a whole other story, and it's pretty funny. But it basically involves my friends kind of playing GeoGuessr off of 3 pictures that I sent them before my phone died of like my overall location. And that's ultimately funny. They found me like 2.5 hours later. I spent 2.5 hours playing Mario Kart on the side of the road in San Diego.
Dang.
Yeah, no, I did pretty good. I got like first place in most of the runs, so like that was fun. But like, you know, it's all about finding those stories because that's the story that I could think back to now, like all the time, as opposed to not going on the trip, spending an extra day editing a video, or spending a few days.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like in junior year, which was last year or last school year, I would sweat editing videos like a lot. I practically never went outside. I feel like that was the time when I was the most distant from my closest friends, right?
Yeah.
And if I did that now, I would just regret it so much in the future.
Exactly.
Like when we barely had any homework, like our grades didn't matter as much, and all my friends were doing like these fun things, and I was just sitting inside editing a video. I feel like there's been such like a hustle culture and like a productivity culture in the world that's been really recent. But
I think COVID really did that, to be honest.
But like for me, I've kind of grown away from that a little bit. And I think it's important because at the end of the day, like it's kind of sad to say, but we're all going to die at some point. And I don't want to die just being this dude who worked 10 hours a day making videos. Even if I enjoyed it, like what's really important to me, and arguably even more important, are like the experiences that I had. And I need to have experiences outside of just editing and playing Minecraft.
It's like they say, don't be rich in material assets, be rich in experiences, because that will make you feel more complete on your deathbed. Like, you know, having a Lambo and a mansion will maybe, you know, please you a little bit, but having those additional experiences is what's gonna make you feel complete, which I think that's something I think back to a lot. Like, and recently, you know, you got to be happy for everything, but you also got to understand that you got to realize why you're doing everything. You got to understand your purpose, and we all have different purpose. Like, if your purpose is to be rich, then that's your purpose. You know, fair enough. I applaud you. But like, I think like Clown Pierce said that himself recently. Like, the reason why he's been taking a break and like, you know, slowing down a little bit is he wants to live life. And I realized like this podcast just took like a very, very wholesome / like existential / realistic turn, but it's good to get it out there. You know, people gotta evaluate things. You know,
I mean, I think that's a big reason of why I'm going to college. Like, I want a degree, and I want to learn stuff, but I feel like I'm just gonna make so many friends and I'm going to have so many experiences that I'm just going to look back on when I'm like 60 years old. And I'll be like, dude, I'm so glad I went to college. So
yeah, that's why like a while back, you may remember this, is like back during the Dupe War. We had a conversation one like late night. You were venting about like colleges and like applications and all that stuff. And you were like talking about all this stuff, like, you know, oh, what if I don't get in or get in, yada, yada, yada. Like, and I remember asking you, like, why do you want to go to college? And, like, I did sense, like, back then, like, there was that kind of, like, are you doing it for the education? Or are you doing it because, like, that's what is expected of you? And I know eventually you've kind of figured out that it's, you know, because you want that experience. You want to have the college life for a few years. And that's probably the only reason someone should actually go to college in my eyes, because as we've seen with our own careers, you don't actually need a degree to make bank. Like, it's all about determination, motivation, and having an idea, having a plan.
I think college is definitely a tool, but as you said, like, well, I think college is like a guaranteed way. As long as you try.
It's a guaranteed way to a stable path. But, you know, not everyone's pleased with a stable path. Some people want a bit more than that or a bit different. And
that's fair. Yeah, this just got incredibly deep in like the past 5 minutes. So
that's facts.
All right, we've already been talking for an hour. I'm just gonna. Have you heard the outro song before?
I did hear from the Rec Rap podcast. It's a pretty nice. Oh, is it?
I think it's about to start.
Oh, I think I heard it for a second.
It's coming through the AirPods.
I hear like moments and increments of it.
Yeah. All right. Do you have anything else you want to say? Anything you want to plug?
Ultimately, know why you're doing something. Enjoy life. Strive for those memories in your everyday life, and know your purpose.
You know what? That's a W comment. Yeah. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise.
Yeah. Make sure to leave a follow and a 5-star review if you're listening on Spotify. These recently just got uploaded to YouTube, so if you're watching on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe, comment, I guess. And yeah, check out Reddoons on any social media platform.
Anywhere.
Yeah. And we will see you in the next episode of the test run. Bye.